The Life is Strange franchise has been around for shockingly 8 years now, delivering some very good and emotionally rich narrative-driven episodic games. But these games never made the jump to Nintendo consoles or the Switch, which is shocking how much of a perfect fit it would be. We did get the new entry True Colors earlier this year on the Switch and it performed well. But now it's time for the original and the best entry and its great prequel Before the Storm to make the jump to Switch in the Arcadia Bay Collection. So does this Switch port handle well? Let's find out. The Arcadia Bay Collection includes the 2014-2015 Life is Strange and its 2017 prequel Before the Storm. And I'll start off the review talking about the original game. You play as a young teenager called Max Caulfield, who returns to the seaside town of Arcadia Bay after some time away. She goes to a new school and slowly tries to find her way, but after an incident, Max finds out she has the power to turn back time to prevent anything bad from happening. This new power seems cool at first, but it slowly takes its toll on Max. Throughout the game, she meets back up with our old friend Chloe, who's a bit of a rebel, and the pair's friendship is tested a bit due to Max moving away. But the pair turn investigators as they try to find out what happened to missing student Rachel Amber, who Chloe was close friends to. The game is split into 5 chapters, and whilst it takes a little while to get going, feeling very teen drama-like at the beginning, which may put some people off, but give it time as it unfolds into a truly excellent tale, featuring many dark moments and very emotional settings, talking about many tough subjects as well. The game, and Before the Storm, very much handles like a Telltale game. You have sections where your character chats and you choose their replies, as well as exploration parts where you explore, find collectibles and chat to other characters. There's also puzzles here to solve. They use Max's ability to rewind time, which is pretty cool, and obviously you'll have moments where your choices that have massive impacts on the game, but I won't spoil any of them for you, but they are quite shocking, especially some of them. As for Before the Storm, this should be noted before I talk about it. If you buy the physical copy, you don't actually get this game on the cartridge. Instead, it's all on a digital code and you have to download it for your Switch from the eShop. It's a bit of a disappointment that they couldn't get both the games on the cartridge, as I don't think they'll take up too much room, but it is a common practice with the Switch now, but at least the games are on Switch. But for video game preservation, this isn't really good, especially for Before the Storm. But back to the game, and Before the Storm follows Chloe before Max returned to Arcadia Bay, and this follows her exploits and her relationship with the mysterious Rachel Amber, who we hear a lot about in the first game. I won't say too much about it as I don't want to spoil this and the first game for you, but Before the Storm is a fantastic game that isn't actually created by Don't Not, who actually did the first game, but Deck 9 Games, who later on did last year's great True Colors. Before the Storm features brilliant characters, fantastic writing, and again, many emotional moments, but play the original Life is Strange before you play Before the Storm. The gameplay is very similar to Life is Strange, just obviously without the time-bending mechanic, but honestly, I didn't miss it that much as the story and characters are just so engaging. There's also this new mechanic called Backtalk, which takes Chloe's attitude and uses it to progress the story as she gets into all sorts of arguments and you can choose a reply. Depending on what you pick, it could help or hinder progress. It's a fun little addition. As for the length, we have 2 games here. The original Life is Strange consists of 5 episodes and can take a good 2 to 3 hours per episode to complete, so you're talking a good 10 to 15 hours depending on if you want to quickly blitz through it or take your time and speak to characters and get all those collectibles. As for Before the Storm, it's a smaller game and only consists of 3 episodes long, and for the length here, you're talking a good probably 8 to 10 hours to reach the game's conclusion, a lot more if you go for the collectibles, so you're talking a good 25 hours worth of gaming here, which is pretty great as you do get a few extra bits and an extra chapter as DLC, which is great. Time to talk about the presentation now, and this collection has been a long time coming as it's been delayed for quite a few times. So many people were worried about how the game was run. Recently we saw the game get a remastered collection for PlayStation and Xbox consoles that spruce up the graphics and improved facial expressions. And for the most part, it was an okay upgrade, but for me, there was always something special about the OG versions. And for the most part, the Arcadia Bay Collection feels like the original version, but just with the usual graphical cutbacks that you get from the Switch. But to its credit, the game looks fine on Nintendo's hybrid system, especially in portable play, which is definitely the best way to play it. Some of the game environments and vehicles kind of feel a bit washed out with its colours, but the game's original vision still remains very much true. As for the frame rate, it mostly sticks to that 30 FPS cap, though there is a few times where that frame rate does drop. But it's nothing really too bad, and you probably might not take much notice of it. Also, the loading times are a bit too long, but then again, it is to be expected. Audio time now, and the other thing Life is Strange is known for is its brilliant indie soundtrack, and the Arcadia Bay Collection brings that fantastic and atmospheric soundtrack to the Switch. Each of the game's chapters features a nicer range of tracks, and they just suit the game perfectly and really does add to both of the game's charm. The game is fully voice acted too, and all the voice actors here do a fantastic job, from Max, Chloe, Rachel and Nathan Prescott. There's many great characters here that all do their top job here. Your ears are in for a treat, and also props to Rihanna DeVaras, who steps in for Chloe in Before the Storm, as the original voice actress Ashley Birch didn't do it because there was like a voice actor strike at the time. But she does a great job, and she sounds very similar to Chloe in the original game. Conclusion time now, and after a long wait, it's great to see Life is Strange and Before the Storm making the jump to the Switch in the Arcadia Bay Collection, featuring two fantastic narrative adventures, rich and great characters and brilliant storytelling that are some of the best in the industry. Featuring two games for 35 quid is a very good price for well over 20 hours worth of content, though it is a shame that Before the Storm is only a digital code in a physical release, and the performance isn't as tight as it should be, but it is respectful enough. So with that, I'm giving Life is Strange Arcadia Bay Collection on the Switch an 8.5 out of 10 with the title of great. Thank you for watching my review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you could like and subscribe, that'd be totally awesome. And as always, thank you for watching. Bye.